Boom! What is going on, my good people? Welcome back to another video, to FPL of the day. I am Jay London, and in this video we are talking about the big blank in game week 30. Nasty. Only 4 teams playing, so I'm going to be creating the ultimate free hit guide because I know a lot of you are going to be free hitting. If you're not free hitting, don't worry, I've got you covered. We're going to go through the best transfers, the best players to target, and all of that good stuff as well. Before we begin, a massive thank you for helping me along the way. We are almost there. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers before the end of the season. 850 now, which is amazing. So if you're just discovering this content for the first time, please do hit that subscribe button, leave a little like, and let's begin the ultimate free hit guide for blank game week 30. Boof. Before we begin, I just need to say a huge thank you because I did ask you to help me get to 800 subscribers. We absolutely smashed that. If you're just discovering this channel for the first time, please do help me out. I'm trying to get to 1,000. If you found me here from the video that I did on Fantasy Football Scout last week as well, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments. You guys have been amazing, and welcome to the channel. I hope I can help you throughout the rest of the season. And get some green arrows and have some fun, because that's what this is supposed to be about, right? Fun. So yeah, in this video, let's have a look at game week 30. Before we begin, there are quite a few caveats that I need to go through. First and foremost, I am recording this before the end of game week 29. So this is going to be like a first draft. If there's any like injury news or postponements, someone gets COVID, or I don't know, maybe someone scores 5 goals in a fixture like Harvey Barnes or something, then that does change things. We're going to need to be getting those players in. But as it stands, this is going to be the first draft and the best free hit guide for game week 30. All right. The other caveat that I need to talk about, because I can already see the comments, I know what people's going to say, is it really depends on what type of manager you are. There's managers that don't like to have an attacker and a defender in the same fixture. For example, they might not want to have someone like Coutinho up against Ben White because they're going to be playing against each other. If Coutinho scores a goal, then obviously that wipes out the clean sheet, and then Arsenal doesn't get that. You've got the other type of manager that likes to just attack the players, the best players, and the best fixtures. So for example, they don't care if Coutinho's playing Arsenal. They want Coutinho in the team because he's a great player and he's a great midfielder and he's doing great numbers. And then they might also put in someone like Kieran Tierney because Kieran Tierney has a good chance of getting some nice attacking returns because he's a great defender and really great at going forward. I'm kind of in the middle, but I sway a little bit further to the latter. So, of course, if you are the manager that doesn't like to have an attacker and a defender in the same fixture, then you can switch some players around. I'll make sure that I guide you with that as well and then help you through. But I needed to put that in there because I can already see people commenting. I know what's going to happen. And the last thing that we need to consider is a topic that's been coming up quite a bit on FPL Twitter is the triple up. Triple up from teams like Spurs, Leicester, and Arsenal. It really does depend on how you feel about the fixtures. So if we bring these up here now, yeah, if we have a look at the fixtures, if you really feel like Arsenal are completely going to tear away Aston Villa, then of course go with 3 Arsenal players. The same goes for Spurs against West Ham. If you feel like Spurs are going to like beat West Ham 5-0, then of course you want to have someone like Kane, Son and Kulusevski in your team. You might want to have Doherty in there as well. I don't know. Same goes for Leicester. If you feel like they're completely going to blow away Brentford in that fixture, then have Daka. Go for a differential, have Harvey Barnes, have Maddison in there, and just make sure you're staying clear of Brentford players. I like to hedge my bets just a little bit. Play it a little bit safe. Maybe spread some of the players around, spread some of those fixtures around to make sure that there's a good possibility on capitalising on some of the points. Because in the past, I've watched games, I've tripled up on teams, and then I've watched games, and as soon as those 3 players have played and they've blanked, then you're screwed, really, like for the rest of the game weeks. We know how bad Leeds have been like throughout the last few game weeks. They have been conceding goals all over the place. So it would be nice to have a Wolves attacker in there. So keep watching. We're going to try and get one of those boys in. Aston Villa against Arsenal. That could go either way. I don't know whether there's going to be many clean sheets there, how many goals Arsenal's going to score, if Coutinho's going to turn up, Watkins, Martinelli, Kulusevski against Martinelli needs to be discussed as well. So we'll go through that. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? Let's pick some players. Oh yes. Okay. So keeping everything in mind that I've just spoken about, the first player on the team sheet is going to be Kasper Schmeichel. Why? Because of the Brentford fixture. I do not like the look of Brentford at the moment. Sorry, Brentford fans. I feel like the Leicester against Brentford fixture is the best possible chance for a clean sheet there. And I'm going to give it to Leicester. Even though they've not been that great in previous game weeks, I know this, we all know this, but looking at that fixture against Brentford, I really do favour them rather than someone like Arsenal against Aston Villa or Wolves against Leeds. Like, we know how bad Wolves have been. So my keeper is going to be Schmeichel. Sarr is also on the bench as well, because my second favourite defensive fixture would be Wolves against Leeds. I do feel like Wolves are going to start keeping a lot more clean sheets, and Sarr obviously is a nice safe bet if you want to go for that defence, because we've seen some of the defenders being rested recently. So yeah, so it's out of Sarr and Schmeichel for me. Schmeichel gets the shout. He's in the team. Let's move on to defence. Done. So I'm going to talk through these individually, because on paper, they're not that exciting unless you're looking at maybe Matty Cash, who's been lighting it up, like in game week 28. What was it? 29 points or something like that? Ridiculous. But let's start with Cody, right? So Cody is possibly the most nailed Wolves defender that you're going to get. Reason being, we saw Kilman rested not too long ago. We're still not too sure what's going on with Ait Nouri, how many games he's going to consistently start. So Cody is the guy for me. I don't feel like he's going to miss any games between now and the rest of the season. Hopefully I'm not quoted on that, because he hasn't missed, I don't know, maybe game week 29 or something's happened. But it looks like Cody is going to be pretty solid and nailed in the team. And that's what we want. If we're using our free hit, we need to make sure that we've got players in our team that are absolutely going to be playing, so that we're using our advantage over the people that haven't got these players that aren't using a free hit, right? So Cody goes in the team against that Leeds defence. Kieran Tierney's next to him, mainly because I want an Arsenal player, an Arsenal defender. That could easily be Ben White instead, because he's very nailed. But Tierney looks like he's going to have the best chance of attacking returns. We know what he's been capable of in previous seasons, in previous game weeks. So it's nice to have him in there just to give us a little bit of an option if there is an attacking return. I reckon he's more likely to get an attacking return than someone like Ben White. So that's why Tierney's in there. And last but not least is Matty Cash. It's really because of the love that I have from him in game week 28. I didn't own him, but it cannot be ignored how great he has been since Luca Dean came in. He's been everything that we expected Luca Dean would be. So I can't make a free hit draft without having Cash in there. It just seems ludicrous. So he makes the squad. He's in the team. That could easily be a Tottenham defender instead if you wanted to. Again, it just depends on what type of manager you are. If you don't want an Arsenal defender and an Aston Villa defender, I get it. I understand completely, but for me, Cash is the best defender, Tierney's the best defender, and Cody's the most nailed Wolves defender. Schmeichel's the best keeper. They're in the team. Let's move on to midfield. Boof. So as you can see, I've left one spot blank because we're going to talk about that in a little bit more depth in just a minute. Let's start with Son. He's going to be in everybody's free hit team, unless you're watching this now and he's been injured or something like that. He's 100% going to be in the squad. He has to be in there. One of the main reasons why people are playing a free hit is to get players like Son and Kane in. So spoiler alert, obviously Kane's going to be in there. So yeah, Son, there's no debate about that. He's going to be possibly the first person on the draft, on the sheet, in the starting lineup for the free hit team. Let's move on from him. This depends on fitness. But for me, if Maddison is fit, he could possibly be the best midfielder for this game week. He's playing against Brentford. It's at home, and we know how explosive he can be on his day. We know that Brentford's not that great at the back, and we know that Leicester needs to start putting their act together and picking up some points. So James Maddison could be very, very dangerous in that fixture, and I feel like everybody who is playing a free hit will need one of those Leicester boys, whether it be Maddison or Barnes. For me, I've gone for Maddison just because I've seen what he's capable of in the past, and I really do like the look of him. So yeah, he's another person that would be nailed on the team sheet alongside Son. Saka's there because, again, there's only 4 teams to choose from, and Saka, for me, has been one of the best midfielders in the last few game weeks. So that's why he's in the team. I know he's playing Aston Villa. I know I've got Matty Cash in defence, but I want Saka in the team because Saka is an amazing footballer. It's as simple as that. That's all we need to do to simplify it. Saka's great, so we're playing a free hit. We put Saka in the team. It doesn't go any further than that. Hopefully he can get some returns, and if he doesn't, then we've got Matty Cash there to collect that clean sheet. And who knows, maybe they can both get attacking returns. But as I say, I'm more of a manager that likes to attack the fixtures with the best possible players on the pitch, which is why we've also gone for Philippe Coutinho. He doesn't really need much of an explanation or much convincing because he's been great. I know he's playing Arsenal and it could be quite difficult, but there's only 4 teams to pick from, and if we're talking great midfielders, Philippe Coutinho is the man for me. So moving on to the blank spot, I want to do something a little bit different because a lot of people have been talking about Martinelli and Kulusevski, and the Arsenal versus Tottenham triple up. So let's do something like this. So those of you that know me and know the channel know that I'm a man about the eye test. I like watching football. I like seeing how players perform. I'm not too into like XG and expected goals and predicted stats and all of that stuff, even though I can appreciate that. I'm very much a man about how many shots these people are taking when I'm watching them. Are they in the box? Like what can I see on the eye? Do they look like they're going to be a threat? So shout out again to Casual Fantasy Footballer, who has put together the FPL of the day shot map. We used this in the Game Week 27 wildcard draft, I think, and a lot of you guys really liked it. So I thought I'd bring it back to do the ultimate comparison and settle this argument once and for all. Martinelli against Kulusevski. Who do we go for? Out of these two players, who's going to be the one that we want in our teams, in our free hits? So draw your attention to the key below to make sure you know what we're talking about. What we're looking at the moment is those solid yellow dots, okay? Kulusevski is taking shots left, right and centre. Look at all of the yellow spots, like so many shots in the last 6 games. He scored a couple of goals as well, which has been really, really good. And it looks like he's really getting involved. Again, an eye test man. I've been watching Spurs and he looks like a real threat. So that's one of the main reasons why we're talking about him, because we've been watching him and we can see how attacking he is. We can see how much of a threat he is, and linking up with people like Son and Kane. He's a really good shout for Game Week 30. There is nothing wrong with Kulusevski. So if we move that along and we compare that to someone like Martinelli, the shot map pretty much speaks for itself. There's so much more going on here. Maybe because Martinelli has obviously been involved more in the rest of the season. But again, having a look at the solid dots, nice and yellow. It's got some big red spots in there as well, and the green crosses. I like the look of this. So for that reason, and taking the shot map into consideration, you can screenshot this. You can go and check out Casual Fantasy Footballer and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But I cannot ignore the amount of activity that Martinelli has on this shot map. So for that reason, let's get him in. Let's get him in the team. He takes the final midfield spot for the ultimate free hit draft, which now looks something like this. Son, Martinelli, Maddison, Saka, Coutinho in midfield, Cash, Tini and Cody in defence, Schmeichel in goal. Let's finish off with our attackers, which are going to look something like this. Harry Kane goes without saying. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But the person that's going to cause a lot of controversy in this video is Jimenez. And I know this because he's been frustrating. He's not been starting a lot of the games in previous weeks. He managed to bag a goal in Game Week 28, so people are starting to say, okay, now we're going to hang on to him for a little while. He's been looking very up and down, but the main thing that we have to focus on here is the fixture. He is playing Leeds. I'm sorry, Leeds fans, but you have been so bad at the back. They're conceding so many goals from like the last few game weeks. Jimenez needs to be in the team because we need an attacking Wolves player. That could be Hwang if you feel like you're more confident with Hwang starting and playing. It could be Podence. I'll get onto that in a bit. It could be Neves if you want to take out one of the midfielders. There's not that many striking options up front unless you want to go for someone like an Ivan Toney against Leicester. Ollie Watkins could also be a shout. We'll talk about him in just a bit. I haven't been stung by him yet, so I'm all right to have him for one game week and then to let him go after that. Even though Wolves' fixtures after this are pretty good as well. Let's have a quick look at the bench, and then I'm going to talk about some differentials as well. So Sarr's in goal, like I said at the start of the video. It's between him and Schmeichel. Ollie Watkins is another person that you could consider, but I don't really want to triple up on Aston Villa because I'm not too sure on what's going to happen in the Arsenal Villa fixture. The other Matt is there for Tottenham if you rather put him in instead of Cash, and then Luca Dean just for the culture because Cash has done everything that we hoped that Luca Dean would do. Luca Dean's not going to play. He's just on the bench. So looking at this, it's pretty template, but this for me, at the current time of recording, is going to be the ultimate free hit draft. We've got players like Martinelli in there that can be explosive. Saka's like one of my favourite midfielders. Maddison I really like the look of. Jimenez is in there because of that Leeds fixture. Kane and Son go without saying. The defence, we've covered one from each team. Cash, Kieran Tierney, Cody, nice and nailed, and Schmeichel in goal. Plus, we've got Philippe Coutinho, who, on his day, can score a hat-trick. We've seen it happen, all right? So that's if you want to play it, kind of template, and then make sure you're covering all bases. But you know me, I like to give you another option. Let's have a look at a differential team right now. You could do something like this. If you're feeling nice and punty, you could just go with Sarr in goal. We've spoken about him already. Double up on the Wolves defence. Keep Cody in there as well. Aaron Cresswell could be a nice little punt. We know how attacking he is and how much set pieces and things he's on. So that Tottenham fixture, who knows? Something could come from there. Harvey Barnes makes his way into the team because there is nothing wrong with a Leicester triple up against Brentford. It just depends on what type of manager you are. Ødegaard is a person that a lot of people are kind of ignoring at the moment, but he's been involved with a lot of the Arsenal attacking returns. So I do like the look of Ødegaard. Of course, I would prefer to have someone like Saka or Martinelli over him, but there's nothing wrong with him. Son and Kane obviously stay in the team. And the one that I really do like is Daka. So Daka up front against Brentford. We don't know how long Vardy's going to be out for, but obviously if he's not making game week 30, then it's going to be out of Daka and Iniacho. And we saw how well Daka did when Vardy was out, and he was picking up a few attacking returns there. So why not try something a little bit different for game week 30 and maybe go for someone like Daka? I've also got Podence on the bench as well. It's a little bit sticky because we don't know whether he's going to play or not. There's been a lot of rotation with Podence, but when he does play and he is fit and he is playing, I do like the look of him. So yeah, those are some nice punts. Those are some nice options. Down in the comments below, I know a few people are going to mention Rafinha. If you follow me on FPL of the day on Twitter, then you'll know that Rafinha has been trolling me for a very long time now, and I've had enough of him. But if you are a Rafinha fan, by all means, put him in your team. Maybe replace him for someone like Lacazette. Just swap him about a bit and play 5 in midfield. But I do like the look of Wolves' defence, and that's the main reason why I've not put Rafinha in there, alongside the fact that he has been blanking for like the last 5 game weeks. There's one more thing to address. I asked you guys to get involved on Twitter before I started recording this video, and a lot of you suggested quite a few things, so big shout out to everybody who got involved. Shout out to Dixie, who actually just wants everything. So I hope that I've actually managed to cover everything that I've said that I would in this video. The last thing is, of course, captaincy choice, and if I'm talking about for my own team, I'm going to go with someone like Son or Kane, mainly because of that high ceiling. A lot of people are going to be captaining Kane or Son as well, so bear that in mind. If you want to go for someone completely different and you want a bit of a cheeky punt, depending on fitness, again, Maddison. James Maddison is the person that is going to be the ultimate differential for game week 30 for that blank. Or maybe you want to go for someone like Barnes if you prefer him over Maddison. That's fair enough as well. So there we go. That is the ultimate free hit guide for game week 30. I know you don't all agree. I know some people are going to disagree. So let me know down in the comments below. It's going to be a very split and divided opinion for game week 30 because there's only 4 teams. So there's going to be a lot of this player versus that player. How can you have that defender against that attacker? I get it. I completely understand. But there's ways to switch things around, which we've gone throughout the video. So let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you've just discovered this content for the first time, please do subscribe. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers before the end of the season. So please do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let me know what you're going to be doing down in the comments for game week 30. This is a first draft though, yeah, so I probably will be tweaking it as the week goes on. Just make sure you're following me at FPL of the day on Twitter, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, good luck.